Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am your muse Tracy. I am here to inspire you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, to create on purpose exactly what you want in all areas of your life, to stop settling and to stop suffering. You are not here to suffer. If that sounds good to you, you are definitely welcome to join me and subscribe to this channel. So in this video, I'm going to talk all about why you haven't unlocked conscious manifestation yet, and the 8 manifestation myths or misconceptions, the 8 myths or misconceptions that you need to stop believing in order to unlock conscious manifestation. So I'm going to go through all 8, and yeah, 8 is my favorite number, so I guess that's why we landed on 8. There's probably more, but I'm going to go through them quickly, and then I will go into each one on a deeper level. So if none of these resonate with you, you can click off the video right away. So number 1. Myth or misconception of why you're not unlocking manifestation, conscious manifestation. You still think it's about changing out there. Big one. Number 2, you don't want to know and understand yourself on a deeper level. Number 3, you still abandon yourself in the smallest ways and wonder why the universe still reflects abandonment to you. Number 4, you don't believe on a deep level. You still approach manifesting from the place of hoping, wishing, but you deeply don't believe it's possible for you. Number 5, you still believe in mostly only what you can see. Number 6, you can't maintain the state you have to be in order to realize your desires because you keep reacting. Number 7, you think your emotions are bad and keep suppressing and denying the negative emotions. Number 8, you've been to therapy and think this is the work. All right, you guys. So these are the 8 myths or misconceptions that are keeping you stuck and you need to stop believing in order to unlock conscious manifestation. Now let's get into some details. So, number 1, you think manifestation is about changing out there. So I always like to start this topic with some grace because I understand and I've been there. And, we all have to start somewhere, and we all come to manifestation. I'm assuming most, if not all, most all of us come to manifestation because there's something missing from our 3D reality, or, something that we realize that we want that is not currently there. And we think it's out there. So we start manifesting, doing techniques to try to change out there. But again, this is very surface level and will get you only surface level results. Out there is a reflection of your inner state of being, your deeply held beliefs, your, programming, your unconscious programming, your blueprint, the things that you hold to be deeply true about yourself, about others, and about the world. This is what's being shown to you in the reflection of your 3D reality. So you may want to change out there, but the way to see the change out there is through in here, right? Neville has a quote all about, stop wasting your time trying to change the mirror, trying to break the mirror to change your face, when really what it takes is you change your face and the reflection will change. So, but if you keep thinking that you're doing whatever you're doing for manifesting to change out there and you don't realize it's about changing you because you haven't made the connection that as within, so without. So you just think that, you're witnessing all of that when really you're the cause of all of that. If you haven't integrated these understandings, then you'll keep thinking that I'm doing something to change out there, and you're missing the key piece that out there is always changing because you are changing. It's not changing because you're intending to see it change, but you're not changing. So I hope that makes sense. I think it is clear. I think it's clear. It's just that we forget, or we don't truly understand how it all works. And so we just naturally look out there because that's where our focus is pointed, out there, when really we have to go within to change out there. This is always the cause, that's the effect, right? So we're not just the witness, we're not just reacting to and responding to 3D reality. We are the cause of 3D reality. So if we want to change 3D reality, it starts by changing within. All right, you guys, I think that's, I could probably go on and on about that one, but I think that's clear. Okay, so on to number 2. You don't want to know and understand yourself on a deeper level. So this ties into the last one, but this is more from a place of like, you kind of understand that you're the cause and that's the effect, but you can't be bothered by looking at yourself, understanding yourself, because you just want the stuff. And this comes from thinking that out there is what can cause you to feel happy, to feel whole, to feel complete, to feel anything that you want to feel. You think that out there is the cause of how you feel. So why bother with what's happening in here? I just need to fix out there and then I'll feel better. So that's where this comes from. This isn't, I don't think anyone's really doing this on purpose, it's just a misunderstanding. And again, I was there too. I was in this place. I was deeply, deeply, deeply in this place for a long time. It wasn't my fault. It's what I was taught, right? And that's not to whatever, it's fine. This is about understanding where you are and accepting where you are and then doing the work to change it. It's not about blame and pointing fingers or anything like that. It's all perfect. It's all, I was meant to be deeply in that so that I could experience it on the deepest level possible and then understand that that's not real. That's not true. It's never anything outside making me feel anything. That will never work. And that's both on the positive and negative feelings. It's the same with both. It's nothing outside of me can ever make me feel good, but nothing outside of me can also ever make me feel bad, right? So it's on both sides. So that's where this one comes from. And when you understand, when you have the experience of realizing this, then, if you were resistant before to looking within, this is when you will come around to finally doing that, because there really won't be any other choice. You will finally realize that, oh, okay, getting this stuff out there is never actually going to make me feel the way I want to feel. I have to do the work, look within myself to feel the way I want to feel, and then outside will reflect that back to me, right? It's not the other way around. Number 3, you still abandon yourself in the smallest ways and wonder why the universe still reflects abandonment to you. So this one is so important because I do see this with my one-on-one clients from time to time where, they're trying to manifest a specific person and, they have this deep, deep, deep belief that their desires are not important on the smallest level. So if you believe that your desires, your needs, your wants are not important on, on the smallest levels, and you keep putting everyone ahead of you because you were taught that you needed to do this to be safe, to be loved, then the universe can't show you, that you are important in these bigger ways through the bigger manifestations. It just can never work that way. So, first of all, notice if you're doing this. Notice if you abandon yourself in the smallest ways, and that's through honoring your own choices, honoring your own needs and desires, honoring your own opinions, allowing yourself to have the opinions that you have. These are the ways that I see people abandoning themselves and then trying to correct, being abandoned by other people. Well, it starts with you. You have to stop abandoning yourself in order to stop being abandoned by other people, by your circumstances. So, this one is a little bit deeper, and it takes, again, you being honest with yourself and recognizing and, being able to see that maybe you are doing this without judging yourself, just observing yourself without judgment, recognizing if you're doing this, and then making the effort to stop doing this. And part of this will be rewriting the belief that, you have to abandon yourself in order to be loved. You have to abandon yourself in order to not be selfish. You have to put everybody's needs ahead of yours to be loved. You'll have to look at some of these deeper beliefs in order to correct this behavior. All right, on to the next one. You don't believe on a deep level. You still approach manifesting from a place of hoping, wishing, but you deeply don't believe it's possible for you. So this is one I actually see a lot. People don't actually believe that they can have, everything that their heart desires. And they're using manifestation in a hoping way, in a wishing way. And I cover this a little bit in my last video about can you be identified with your desires, because this is going deep, and it's about knowing who you are and knowing that you are not your past experiences, not your programming, you're not any limitation, you're not limitations, and you're not, infinite potential. You are the awareness of this duality. And in order to choose the side of the duality that you want to experience, you have to first know who you are. So what I see happening with this belief about manifesting is people come to manifesting because they want to change their life. They want to change a lot of things in their life. They want to change, their history, everything they've ever experienced, from lack to abundance. But they don't really believe it's possible. And they don't believe it's possible because they are deeply identified with their past experiences, their programming. They're deeply identified with that. And they think they're going to use manifestation to overcome being identified with those limitations. That's not exactly how it works. You have to, first and foremost, know your true identity, know who you really are above and beyond your circumstances, your past experiences, your programming, your ingrained limitations. You have to know who you are above and beyond all of that, because you are not any of those things. And the first step to successfully manifesting is not identifying with the lack and the limitation and the programming. And you do that by understanding what your real identity is. And, once you identify and remember what your real identity is, you don't have to try to believe manifesting. It's a natural thing that you would believe in. It's only difficult to believe in, unlimited possibilities when you still identify with so many limitations. Next one. Number 5, you still believe in mostly only what you can see. And yes, this does closely tie into the last one, but this is also not just only specifically to do with you and your experiences, but what we've been taught to believe about quote unquote reality. We've been taught to believe that, what you can sense with your five senses is reality. And what you can sense with your five senses is all that is. None of that is true. But if you kind of come from that perspective and you think, I'm manifesting, what doesn't already exist. I'm creating what I can't see, and I'm going to wave a wand and make it appear. That's not how it works. And, you want to go deeper and understand what you can see is only a tiny fraction of all that exists. Creation is finished. All possibilities exist. All possibilities are not visible to you, yet you have a small fraction of all that exists that is visible to you. I'm not going to get into like the reticular activating system and the filter of your brain and your consciousness, all of that. That's for another time. But you're only able to sense with your five senses a very, very, very tiny part of all that exists. But if you're coming from the belief that all that you can sense with your five senses is all that exists, this is a misconception. This is a belief, a myth that you will have to let go of because it is only keeping you stuck. Number 6, you can't maintain the state you have to be in to realize your desires because you keep reacting. This ties into the last one. So you keep reacting because you keep experiencing the opposite of what you want. And if you think that only what you can experience with your five senses is all that exists, then you keep reacting to it. And I have lots of other videos about reacting. I have lots of other videos about opposite manifestation. So if you don't know anything about that from my teachings, please go and watch those videos. But again, this misconception that, you're trying to stay in this state, but when something opposite pops up, it brings you out of the state. You're basically, what you're doing is you're taking your cue from your 3D reality, which is already taking its cue from you. And this is what keeps you stuck in cycles and pulls you out of the state that you want to be in, that you need to be in. And, you get pulled out of this state, you probably spiral, go downhill, and then finally get back into the state once again, once you recover from the spiral. And then 3D reality causes you to come out of the state, right? And the cycle repeats. So your job is to maintain the state regardless of what is showing up in your 3D reality. And you do that by integrating the knowing that creation is finished, and you are the consciousness, the awareness that is choosing and selecting your reality, and you don't need to react to your circumstances. Number 7, you think your emotions are bad and keep suppressing and denying them. This is one of the biggest things I see keeping people stuck, and one of the biggest misconceptions that is taught in law of assumption and law of attraction community, that your negative emotions are bad and you should avoid them and they're going to manifest bad things. None of that is real, because your emotions in and of themselves don't manifest. And when I am talking about feeling your emotions, honoring your emotions, it's not from the place of dwelling in the negative story. There's a difference between dwelling in the negative story and feeling your emotions. And so what I teach and what you want to learn how to do is honor and feel all of your emotions. There's not a single emotion that you need to suppress ever. That causes more intense feelings and more suffering. So there's never a feeling that you need to suppress. It's about feeling your feelings, using your feelings as guidance, understanding what they are showing you, and then consciously choosing the story, not drowning in the story that, created the negative emotions or the negative story. The story that created the negative emotions, not drowning in that story. It's consciously choosing the story that you now prefer to experience. Okay, and the last myth or misconception, you've done therapy and think that this is the work. So therapy is most of the time looking back and talking about what has happened. And this is only a fraction of the work. And, most therapists, and I'm not bashing therapy, I'm just saying to manifest the life you want, this type of therapy isn't going to get you there. Okay, so please be clear, I'm not bashing therapy at all. I'm just I'm trying to explain how if you think therapy is a direct link to being a better manifester, conscious creator of your life, it's not. And this is why. These are the missing pieces. So most therapists just offer you talking about what has happened. And this almost just reinforces what has happened. And what you need is another layer, and you need the spiritual perspective on what has happened. You need the higher perspective and higher understanding and higher purpose and to what has happened, and understanding the purpose and the reason and the why you went through what you went through, the accountability, the understanding of why it's there, to what it's there to show you. This is why most of my clients who have spent years in therapy, when they come to work with me, they feel better and have a greater understanding of everything after one, maybe two sessions. And, so therapy is necessary, but it's not the work to become a conscious creator. It might be a piece of the work, and it's actually I'm not a therapist, but some of the work that I do with my clients, some of it can resemble therapy. It can look like therapy, but it's not. It's got all these other layers and aspects to it that are designed to help you become more of a conscious creator. And it's about understanding the purpose and the why and the experience and what the experience caused you to think about yourself. It's understanding what you interpreted and how the experience affected you. How did you create programming from that experience? How did how did it change your blueprint about how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see reality? That's the point of looking sometimes at the past experiences. So, and again, this is the piece, the spiritual aspect that is missing from a lot of therapy. And this is the piece that you need to, improve your ability to consciously manifest and consciously create your reality. So and it's this piece of understanding you are not this human. You're not you're not the experiences of your past. You're not the past. You're not the programming. You're not any of that. Okay. It's about understanding what those experiences, how they affected you, and what you now carry into your now moment, because the past only affects you as you keep bringing it into your now moment. These are the 8 myths and common misconceptions that you will have to stop buying into and practicing and believing in order to master the art of conscious creation. Leave me a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.